I'm Dan Galusha and welcome to another edition of Shootin' Plink. Today we're going to be trying to adjust a scope on this Henry long barrel Frontier. Now why are we doing it? I mean we've done a lot of this sort of stuff, but we're going to be doing it for freestanding because this is Shootin' Plink. So no big deal. I don't need to use a bench and go out and shoot 200-300 yards or whatever. We're just doing some shooting and plinking. That's what this series is all about. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this for freestanding. Now the reason I'm adjusting it, you may remember I did a video here a while back, and at the end of it I knocked the scope off. It actually came loose. I'm not sure why, and I hope it don't again today, but it probably is out of adjustment somewhat. So we're going to go through this and I'm going to be explaining as to what I'm doing. What I have done is I've taken my AR-500 target, if you can see it down there, and I'm using a double-eared one. The reason being is the single will wobble like this. I want it as steady as possible, and I have put one of my stickers right in the middle of that, and that's what we're going to be shooting at. That way I'm going to know where it's hitting. So again, it's going to be like we talked about before. I'm shooting the best of both worlds at AR-500 steel, plus I've got somewhat of a paper type of a thing. So what I'm doing is I'm hearing the hits besides seeing them, or at least hopefully seeing them. And then I'll explain what I do as far as the adjustment goes. But I've loaded 10 rounds in this. Of course, this thing will hold a lot more than I have, about 16 rounds in fact, of LR, the 22 LR. Now, one thing you want to do is pretty much use the type of ammunition that you're going to be using when you're shooting. So in my case, I do a lot with quiet ammo, and I picked the CCI quiet to do it with. And so what we're going to do is we're going to head on back here 25 yards. That's what I'm going to try to put this in at. And I tell you, the bees and the flies are thick right now. Hotter than all get out. We got a heat index into the hundreds. Had a huge storm. In fact, our long ravine range, which you've seen before, there was a big tree across that. I hadn't been working on that. But anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to try to adjust the scope. So let's go back there and shoot and see what happens. Alright, you're back here with me at 25 yards. Of course, you zoomed in to see this closer, and hopefully I'll be able to see it when it hits. We're going to try, and like I said, this is freestanding. We're not using a bench. It's okay, like if you got a tree or something, you want to lean up against that and brace your back, or if you got a sling, that's better yet. If you got a sling on it, such as I've got on the PC carbine, the Ruger, that is a good brace too, and you might want to use that for sighting. In fact, if I had one on here, I would definitely be doing that. But what we're going to do is we're going to fire about 3 rounds down here and see where it's at. Well, I can already see we're hitting high. So what I want to do is I want to adjust that windage down lower. So, or not the windage, but the elevation. That was smart, wasn't it, windage? Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the crosshairs right on those areas where I'm shooting and bring it down to where I think it should be, and we'll see what we do now. Shooting a little high. I can see that. I don't need to fire 3 rounds each time, not if I can do it like that. So I'm going to adjust this down a little bit more, and then I'm going to shoot again. Okay, that's a little more like it. Yeah, that's hitting there. Looks like I must have it. Don't really look like the windage is off. Yeah, I'm hitting that middle, I can see that. That was it. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put another sticker on there, and then we're going to fire a few more rounds and see if I've actually got it. I do think that it doesn't need any windage adjustment. I think it was strictly elevation, as you could see. And I'll show you what I did once we get this finished, but we're going to fire some more rounds with that. I think there were a couple of misses. That was about it. And that was just because I'm wavering back and forth. Like I said, it's freestanding, but it probably wasn't much of a miss. You may have seen it better than I did. But I could see I was definitely hitting that center, so this is sighted in better. Now we're going to go up there, and I'm going to tell you what I did and how I did it by doing it freestanding without a bench. So I'm going to tell you what I did to adjust that by being freestanding. Fortunately, it didn't seem like the windage was off at all. So all I needed was this top one right here, this top adjustment. And what I did is, if you want that to go downward, in other words, I was shooting high there at first, as you've seen, and I'll get the other target and I'll show you with that, because here's the adjustment, which all of you that have adjusted scopes knows what it's like. There it is right there. And that goes up or down. And what I did, and you can do it one of two ways. I'll set the gun over here. It's unloaded, safe, and I certainly don't want it to hit the ground, so I'm definitely doing it in a safe position. Here we are. Now, here's the target. And I get this one back, the one we adjusted, and I'll tell you what I did. As you've seen, the first rounds I fired were up here. I knew right away that it was shooting high. So what I did is I turned that clockwise, but I put the crosshairs on this. Now you can do it either way. You can put your crosshairs here and bring it up to there, or down to here, but I like to do it here. Put your crosshairs where it actually, the point of impact was. Then you turn it downward so that it goes down. Well, the next ones were right in here. So I knew I was getting, or actually it's probably the third try, second try. I got it about here. So I knew I wasn't going to have to be too much further. Put the crosshairs there a little bit, did a quick turn, and you can see I got some right in the middle, and I started hitting more in here, but by the time I actually was getting what I wanted, it was right in here. So I knew for plinking, like I said, this is shooting plink. If I was going to go into a shooting competition, it would be cowboy competition, and I'm not having to worry a lot about a scope right there, I'll tell you right now. My friend and NRA and CCW instructor Mark Millichamp and his wife Karen, hey, they're some of the best in the cowboy shooting. And put them right up there probably along Evil Roy. As you know, Gene, of course, is Evil Roy. But anyway, that's getting into cowboy competition. We're talking about this. And that's how you adjust it freestanding. Another thing I want to mention, and we'll put this down, is your adjustment. And what sort of a scope do you have? Well, I like these scopes. It's a 3.940, and some of them are 3.932s, 30s in there somewhere. Anyway, I like the 40. That's what this is. And I set it, you'll have 3 to 9 for your adjustment. Of course, the 9 is the strongest, that brings it in the most. I like to kind of hit it just, I'd say, below the medium one, and have it at 4. And you can see that's what I did right here. If you can see the adjustment, I put it at 4. So that's what I was using on this. I was shooting with a 4, and it always seems like that's the best to sight it in at. I don't really know why necessarily, but at least for me. Maybe somebody else, I don't know. That's what I do. And that's also what I do as far as adjusting it. And if I really, really wanted to get serious on this and make it so that every round was dead center in the middle, then I'd probably use a bench. But even so, with it that close, freestanding, if I set it a bench, it's probably going to be pretty much right on. There's no doubt about it. And as I said, this is shooting Plink. We're just having fun. Air guns, 22s, whatever. We're just having fun. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.